Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Chakodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us is true. A sincere shalom to the hopeful like that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom. Alright, so check this news out. It says we need to delete these people. Left-wing TikTok user calls for more violence against ICE agents. You see? Hey, this is prophecy speaking loud and clear, man. It's becoming more and more frequent. Okay? This is 2nd Ezra 15. And we're going to read verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Right? So we've had violence against ICE, and ICE exercising violence against the people. Okay? And it's only going to continue. Okay? Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men. All right, let's get this word sedition. I got it pulled up here in the Oxford. Sedition means conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch. That's right. The state or monarch is Trump and his orders to have these ICE agents round up so-called illegal immigrants, but really he's coming after Jake in general, whether you're legal or illegal. Okay, and they're even beating up and putting to death certain Edomites that stand in their way. Okay, so this is sedition right here because they're going against the orders of the government and they're actually calling for violence now. So it looks like the American people are now, starting to basically stop being so docile. And now they're starting to snap, okay? And they're calling for more violence. So as you saw, there was some violence against this woman. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the lady in Minnesota, right? And so now, you got a lot of people roused up. All right, let's get into the article real quick. It says a left-wing TikTok user urged his followers to get violent and to kill United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agents in a video that rapidly spread across social media Monday. Resistance to ICE enforcement has grown more and more violent nationwide, with agents fired on and targeted in multiple states amid increasingly heated rhetoric. Tensions have only escalated further in the wake of Wednesday fatal shooting of Minnesota resident Renee Nicole Good. All right, that's the one I was talking about earlier, by an ICE agent during an enforcement operation in Minneapolis. And you see a lot of division happening now, man. A lot of division. And through the spirit, I want to grab that. What Yahweh Shai said about a house divided. This is Mark 3:25. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Okay, so you have the American people divided on this matter. Okay, because there's actually a GoFundMe for that ICE agent. Let's see here. Here it is. GoFundMe set up for ICE agent with Peoria ties who fatally shot woman. Right. So that agent that, basically had this woman put to death, he's getting money on the one hand from a bunch of people, bunch of red-blooded Edomite right-wingers, right? And then you got the left wing over here talking about putting them down, putting people like him down, you see? So the division is real, man. It's not just these devils against Jake, it's even these Edomites against themselves, man. Okay, so this place is divided. There is a lot of insurrection, all right, a lot of sedition among men, people talking to get violent and coming up against authority, all right. Let's keep it going here. It says TikTok user who posts under the username monkey dbean0 and uses they them their pronouns said ICE agents are just mall cops and proud boys and cited Good's death as justification for his call to delete federal agents. All right, and notice they have that alphabet agenda in there. All right, which we're not with that. We're not with that. Okay, but it's just more division because it's gonna get more people lumped up under the left banner, and more people lumped up under the right banner. Just kind of grouping everybody together, divide and conquer. Okay, but ultimately, this sedition will come to the point where this insurrections are gonna get so bad, Trump is gonna have to get the military involved, man. Which is biblical prophecy as well. It says, I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't really care about the consequences anymore. I don't care. We need to delete these people. The green-haired TikTok user said there's just no alternative. Okay? And actually, I could just play it here instead of us reading the article. Let's just play it real quick. This is fair use for educational purposes only.
Hey, so look, I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't really care about the consequences anymore. I don't care. We need to kill these people. There's just no alternative. I don't care if you say, oh, I've got the crazy eyes, whatever. Yeah, I do feel crazy because we've had 3 people die in 72 hours, and we've had over almost 30 die in the last year to a group of quote-unquote law enforcement that is basically just buffed up mall cops, right? Who are gun trigger and have the Proud Boys. Let's call them what they are. It's the Proud Boys. Why do you think we didn't hear about them? Any of you heard about the Proud Boys all year? Suddenly no more Nazi marches? None of that shit? Right. There we go. They're Nazis. Peyton said it best. They're Nazis. And the only way to stop this shit, let's be honest, is going to be to get violent. We got to get violent, people. And I'm tired of denying it. And I'm tired of y'all being pussies about it. Grow up. We're not going to get through this holding hands. Peaceful protest only works if your enemy has a moral obligation to listen to it. They have none. You guys are sitting there holding up fucking signs and saying, oh, I'm mad at you. You're pathetic. Burn something.
Wow. I mean, hey. A lot of you people have been, a lot of these American people have been, doing their little protests. And now they starting to wake up and see, okay, so the only way that we can fix this shit is we got to actually take matters into our own hands, you see? As far, that's what these people believe. We, here at Great Millstone, we don't incite anything. And we don't tell anybody to do anything violent. Okay, we're to just wait upon the Lord. Okay? But the people of this world... all right, they don't have the Lord as their hope. So in their minds, the only logical decision is to basically come up against their government and take arms. You see? And this is setting the stage for that martial law, man. It's coming. All right? And at the same time, you also got these wars on the other side of the world, man. It's just all out chaos worldwide, man. This 2026 is coming out with a huge bang, man. Okay, so America's being destroyed from the inside and from the outside. Okay, as everything starts to heat up more and more. It says, I don't care. All right, so this is what we just saw it on the video, so we don't have to read that. Let's see. It says ICE agents have been attacked by assailants who used cars to ram vehicles 10 times from January 4th to the 10th. Hey, that's the spirit. There's cop cars outside right now. You hear that? Hey, man, this thing is going to intensify to such a point, man. Jacob's trouble is here, man. The Apostle Tahar was going into it earlier, man. This thing's only going to intensify from here. All right? It's not going back. It's not turning back. Hey, the scripture says the plagues are not slack. 2nd Ezra 16:39. Oh, that's, ooh, yeah, look at that. We're going to go ahead and read 37. 2nd Ezra 16:37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her wombs, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Right? So the way a woman gives birth, her pain starts as the baby's getting ready to come out, and it intensifies in frequency and in pain. Okay? And there's less breaks in between. So just how you see in 2026, man, it's one headline after another, the same prophecies we've been bringing out, saying, oh, look, this is starting to heat up. This is starting to heat up. Now it's in your face, man. You see? Hey, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Yeah, man, the world is mourning to the point where they want to take up arms against the government. All right, verse 40. O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. That's right. Carry light. Be ready at any moment, man, because you're going to lose your house. You're going to lose your car. You may get broken into. It's a lot of shit going on, but the Lord's going to protect us ultimately. We're not worried about it. We're not like these preppers out here hoarding a bunch of shit into our house, because you're just going to be a sitting duck. Okay, the amount of chaos that's getting ready to happen, you cannot prepare for apart from being prepared spiritually by having his truth, believing in Yahweh Bahashem and Hawashai. The Lord is going to guide you in Jacob's trouble. We're going to be all right. But those who have not the Lord, okay, they're going to make all type of mistakes and get fucked up. Okay, so yeah, be a pilgrim on the earth. Be ready for the battle. Hey, we might have to put somebody to death. If somebody comes up against us, we're going to have to defend ourselves in the time that's coming. But the Lord is going to give us the ability to do it, man. All right, we're not telling you to come out here and start shit. All right, but if somebody comes up against you and you got to defend yourself, you do what you got to do. All right? Yeah, man, this thing is getting ready to happen, man. All right, and hey, we see it all the time. Isaiah 33:6, real quick. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. What's going to give us mental stability is this wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the Bible. We know these prophecies were prophesied to happen. It's coming. There is no stopping Jacob's trouble going full force, full blast, martial law. Okay, they may put another title on it. Oh, the Insurrection Act. It's the same shit. All right, the military state will take over, and Trump's going to remain in power. Okay? All right, there's nothing to stop what's coming here with the Jacob's trouble, intensifying to a high point. There's going to be mass death, mass chaos. All right? That's why we got to have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, the prophecies, the instructions. That's going to keep us sane. It says in strength of salvation, right? This is the strength of our salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Because the scriptures say endure to the end. How are you going to endure if you don't know what the fuck is going on, man? That's why we tell you don't listen to these other camps, man. These other camps are leading you astray. So when all hell breaks loose, you're going to lose your mind. You're going to not know what's going on. You must know. Don't listen to these scoffers talking about, oh, well, you can't eat books, nigga. You can eat books. It's called spiritual eating, dummy. You can eat all the food you want. You can have all the clothes, shoes, hoes, whatever fucking worldly shit you want by getting your bag up and doing all this shit on this side, this materialism. But guess what? In Jacob's trouble, you're going to be a sitting duck. And us, those of us who, quote unquote, ate books, the scriptures, the knowledge, we ate the roll. Guess what? That's going to save us, man. Not money, not weapons, not fucking influence, not your different connections, whatever. None of that shit's going to save you, man. It's the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of this Bible. All right? That we be bringing out. This is what's going to save you in this horrible, horrible time that's coming, man. All right? Let's keep reading this article. It says the Department of Homeland Security said in September 26 post on X that an ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois had come under multiple violent attacks. So it's already been happening, man. And this guy is inciting more. Okay, notice how he's with the Mo community, the alphabet community. And the woman who was murked was a woman that liked to sleep with other women. She got put down. Now that got the I'm not gonna say it, the alphabet community, it got them roused up. Now they're gonna be out here putting people to death. You see, this shit's gonna get crazy, man. This shit is a shit show, man. Alright? This shit is a shit show, man. You know? That's why, it's been said before in Jacob's Trouble, it's going to be a lot of grape out here. All right, so you women need to get in this truth, get in line. All right, and you men too. You men can get grape because you got flaming moes like this guy talking about getting violent. All right, they might get violent against some of you men out here, bro. You know, see, so we need the Lord, man. There's multiple ways we could get fucked up in Jacob's Trouble without the Lord. Okay, so we need the Lord to be protected because shit is gonna be coming from every direction, man. You're gonna have fires to your left, people getting gunned down to your right, people getting kidnapped in front of you, and people behind you catching an illness or being homeless, getting shipped off to a concentration camp because they're homeless, right? Trump put in that law now, you're not allowed to be homeless in certain areas. Right, Utah is building and I believe, I don't know if it's underway or if they finished it or what, but a month or so ago, I made a video how they're building this prison camp for the homeless, right? To put your ass to work. If you're homeless, they're going to put you in a prison and make you work for free. You see, or damn near free price, some low bullshit price, you know, might as well be free, right? Might as well be free labor, right? But anyway, back to the point. Let's see. It says in Portland, Oregon, violent protesters attacked conservative journalists covering the riots and allegedly planned to use lasers against aircraft operators by federal law enforcement agencies. 2 people were deleted during a shooting at an ICE office in Dallas on September 24th, with the gunman committing suicide. In Texas, shots were fired at ICE and Border Patrol facilities in July, with 10 people being charged with attempted deletion in connection with the incidents in Alvarado, Texas. And there it is, saying the guy's words again. You people got to get, you know what. I'm not going to say it because you got this AI going around. You know, they might take our words and try to say, oh, well, see, these guys are saying it. So, hey, I'm not going to say it. You could read it right there, man. This is what he's saying. Okay. Let's get back to 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Or, yeah, we'll start at 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, right? Destruction to the world, which the world is talking about this wicked government, man. This wicked system, America. Right? And all around the world, really, you have the same system. But, you know, the people of this world, they're going to get fucked up. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. Right? Those guns, that's the modern day sword, is the gun. For there shall be seditions, right? We just read seditions. What is that? Conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of the state or monarch. And what does sedition lead to? Sedition leads to actual violence, because people will hear that message that guy's saying and they'll look at and be like, yeah, he's right. Fuck these picket signs and all these peaceful protests. They're not listening, so let's get real. That's what they're going to do, right? It says, in invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And you've seen this happening worldwide. The prime minister in Nepal, they invaded his palace. I believe they put his wife to death. Okay? There's been a lot of these insurrections worldwide, and it's here in America now, finally. You see? Didn't we tell you it was going to come to America? You had it in France, you had it in Nepal, you had it in other places around the world. You know, all type of insurrections, right? Let's get that insurrection, because sedition leads to insurrection. Okay? Let's get the definition. Insurrection, a violent uprising against an authority or government, right? So sedition is talk or motivational speech that comes before the insurrection. You know, telling people, hey, get fucking nut up and stop letting these punk ass motherfuckers bully you. You know, that's basically what was said there. And that's what's being said. You know, imagine what's being said behind closed doors, man. This is why I believe also one of the reasons in 2026 they're saying that if you have a phone call with somebody over 10 minutes, it's going to be recorded. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, now they saying it's a rumor, but yeah, now they acting like it's not true. It probably is true. The fact that it's all a bunch of debunked, it's a myth. You know, that's how you know it's probably true. Here we go. Let's see this. We're just going to read the first part because they probably just trying to debunk it. But I remember seeing an article about it. It says, will Gigoff be recording all my calls over 10 minutes in 2026? Look at this comment. I've just heard as of January 2026, all mobile providers will be recording all conversations over 10 minutes long and keeping them for 30 days. Yeah, that's what I heard too. And then... yeah, so, you know, they wiped it off the internet. You know, don't put it past these Edomites. I've heard it would happen. You know, as if, you know, and of course we know that they already are listening into our calls. But, you know, the fact that they are telling you they're going to do it, okay, means they're probably going to add some extra measures. They're going more all out. All right. So back to 2nd Esdras. Salakia. 2nd Esdras 15:16. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right? Nobody's going to be able to stop them. This insurrection is going to be so great. A lot of political figures are going to get put to death. A lot of people in power, a lot more CEOs, a lot of these rich men are going to be put down. Right? Because they're trying to create a chaos so they can mandate this MOTB, right? They want this shit to happen, right? Order out of chaos. Remember, we've been saying it. I might even try to look for the video later where I said it. I mean, I've said it in many videos before that, you know, that these devils want order out of chaos. Okay, first they created great chaos, all these insurrections, you know, fucking uproar, blah, 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 whatever. And then they're going to bring peace out of it. And the peace comes from the MOTB, right? Or their crooked version of peace, right? Okay, they're, you know, crashing the economy, you know, fucking wars. All this shit is a part of the NWO, man. They got to have this chaos, all right? Now, ultimately, the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, is the one who controls all these events, okay? But he's using Esau to do it, okay? Through these international elite bankers who basically... hang on 1 second, Salakia. All right, Salakia, I'm back. So let's read this again. 2nd Esdras 15:17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right? That's that martial law. That's the Insurrection Act. Okay, that's what we just got the definition of an insurrection, right? A violent uprising. Salakia. Damn, what the hell's going on here? Alright, Salakia, I'm back. So we just read the definition of insurrection, a violent uprising against an authority or government. Okay, and so if we go to the Insurrection Act, I think I had a picture of it somewhere. Here we go. This is the policy.defense.gov 10U.S.C 331 through 335. Okay. Section 332, use of militia and armed forces to enforce federal authority. This is the Insurrection Act. Whenever the president considers that unlawful obstructions, combinations, or assemblages or rebellions against the authority of the United States make it impractical to enforce the laws of the United States in any state by the ordinary course of judicial proceedings, he may call into federal service such of the militia of any state and use such of the armed forces as he considers necessary to enforce those laws or to suppress the rebellion. Boom, that's the Insurrection Act right there. So if he feels like, people are getting too violent and too crazy and coming up against the government, then he has the power, according to these laws, to bring the military in to bring order out of what? Order out of chaos, you see? Okay? And this is why a lot of times we believe that a lot of these different events are staged, are PSYOPs. Okay, got to be careful with these words. All right, because we get shadow banned easily. Y'all know what I'm talking about. False flag events, fucking, hey, that thing with that woman may very well have been an act. Just to, they hire their paid actors, whatever, in order to push an agenda, right? And if a few more ICE agents out here start getting shot, start getting attacked, they get put down in a few different areas, that's more than enough for him to invoke this, and boom, they're gonna start sending the military out there. Everything is gonna be, in that martial law, okay? Which is the same thing as the Insurrection Act. It's literally the same thing, just two different words. This is 2 Ezra 15:17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because they're going to have checkpoints. They're going to have, these 15-minute cities. They're going to have the military everywhere, policing everybody, man. All right? So you may not be able to go into another city. All right? There may be too much violence. That's another reason that you may not be able to go from city to city anymore. Right now, you could drive your car, to another city if you want. Any state you are in the U.S., you could go to another city, man. But not when this starts to happen, man. Once these insurrections start increasing, okay, people won't be able to just freely travel around, man. All right? For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Right? The time of Jacob's trouble, when men shall be afraid. You could just read Jeremiah 30. It says, "Why do men give birth, or do men travail?" Roughly paraphrasing, because men is gonna have that expression on their face like a pregnant woman, scared as fuck. All right, shit is gonna get real out here, man. And only the Lord can get us through it. Okay? Let's see what we had over here real quick. We had 2nd Ezra 9. Let's get this real quick. 2nd Ezra 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, right? You got to be paying attention to these prophecies, measuring the time, calculating in your mind. Okay, well, look, through the Spirit, we got these insurrections. They got the race to 6G. All right, we see all this artificial intelligence popping up everywhere. We see people losing their jobs. Everything is heading digital. Cash is soon to be done away with. The MOTB is soon to be mandated. Now there's insurrections. Donald Trump is about to call the Insurrection Act. Okay, you should see that we're very close to the mandating of the MOTB, which is the last major prophecy that needs to be fulfilled before the return of our Lord and Savior Yahushua. So we are at the end, man. If you understand biblical prophecy, which you ought to, okay, you're not supposed to be ignorant. Okay, the scripture says study to show yourself approved, right? So you should be measuring the times diligently. Okay, not saying, oh, there's 1,000 years before the Lord comes back. No, that's just silly, man. The Lord is coming back much sooner than that. Maybe within months. Verse 2, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And the Lord is visiting this world with all these different calamities he's bringing upon the earth. The earthquakes, the famines, the pestilences that we've been seeing. Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. There you go. Let's read it again. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and what? Uproars of the people in the world. Let's get the word uproar, man. A loud and impassioned noise of disturbance. Okay? That's like, these protests, these loud ass protests. A public expression of protest or outrage, right? These insurrections are a form of uproars also. These insurrections are getting ready to happen, man, on a large scale. Right? So it says, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right? The scripture is the only book that tells you what's going to happen before it happens, reliably, and it gets it right every time, man. The scriptures never miss. Okay, soon these devils are going to come down with more wrath. They're already coming down with great wrath. Okay, all they need is an excuse. Like I say on every video, all Esau Edom, the so-called white man, needs is an excuse, and he can call, this Insurrection Act in order to basically have more power. And think about it, if he calls that Insurrection Act, it's going to be a lot easier to mandate the MOTB also, because now he's got military everywhere, and it's going to be a lot easier to enforce it, because he can say, well, we need to see who's a criminal, who's not a criminal, who's an illegal immigrant, who's not an illegal immigrant, right? You got this whole thing going on with the Somalis right now, okay? Those are all things that Esau is using to create the perfect excuse list in order to do what? To mandate that MOTB. And he may very well use the military to do it. Or of course he will, man. But, of course they're going to want people to take it voluntary. But eventually they might force a lot of people also. Because either way you're going to be forced, because it says, we'll get that real quick. Revelation 13 and 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So whether you're poor, whether you're rich, these elites are going to force you to do what? To take a chip in your right hand or in your brain, right? Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. That's right. So they're going to force you to take this chip. And if you don't take the chip, you won't be able to buy or sell. You won't be able to be a part of society. And guess what? If you try to steal something at the store to survive, all right, or you try to, do it some other way, he's got military out there now. He's got surveillance out there. So it's a world ultimately where you either go up by faith, trusting in Yahweh B'Shem Shai, and don't take the chip, or you take the chip and now you got to live according to Esau and ultimately get destroyed by the Lord anyway. This is why we tell you to repent, Yasharallah, because this day is vastly approaching, the chip mandation, all right, and it starts with this great chaos that's getting ready to happen, these insurrections and uproars, and then ultimately that military takeover by Trump. Okay, so yeah, prophecy is screaming, man. Okay, now we got people out here blatantly saying it out there in the interview. You gotta just put them to death. They, basically saying it in my own words. You can see it here on the screen, man. This is what he's saying. Calling people pussies. And you know what? Hey, it's true. They are a bunch of pussies, man. Because, if they don't have the hope of the Lord, what's the only logical solution to this shit is for them to actually do something. But, ultimately they're gonna come up against the government, but it's gonna be on the Lord's time, man. And it looks like the Lord's time is coming very soon for these people to start acting out, wilding out. Okay, and again, I'm gonna say it again. We do not incite anybody to do anything. We do not tell anybody to do anything violent. All right. Our goal is to simply obey the scriptures, obey the Lord, and wait on the Lord, man. The Lord is going to take this bitch down, man. All right, this bitch America, Babylon, is going down, man. And this is just another step closer to it. All right, Yasharallah. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem HaKodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, and taught us the truth. A sincere shalom to the hopeful elect that's out there listening, learning, and or teaching in truth and sincerity. Shalom wa, abba babal, shalom.